Welcome back to another episode on the See Through podcast, See Through It podcast. Oh, it's Friday. It's snow outside. It's cold. I think my brain just took a little pause, a little break. But anyway, welcome to another episode on the See Through It podcast. I'm your host, Brian Sales. Today is Friday. It is a week in sports episode 42. Episode 42. This season has been crazy. We're on episode 42. We've done a lot of different things, a lot of different guests. So we'll get to more information on what I got planned ahead for season 3 and the ending of season 2. So before we get into all of what we have to talk about today, let's go ahead and jump into the promo. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel, join the conversation, give it a thumbs up. If you give it a thumbs down, please let me know why you gave it a thumbs down. Leave it in the comments. Let me know why you gave it a thumbs down. If you're on Instagram, follow me on Instagram at SeeThroughIt_podcast. Facebook, facebook.com/STIPODCST. Give it a thumbs up, share, like, join the conversation there. Get those numbers up on my Facebook, that Facebook page. Trying to grow those numbers. It's all about them numbers. Email me if you're wanting to do a show with me, or if you have a topic, or if you're looking to sponsor the podcast. Email me there. Also, if you'd like to make donations to the show, PayPal me, paypal.me/SeeThroughIt. If you'd like to purchase mugs, I got one right here. It's my favorite one, mugs or hoodies, t-shirts. Let me know. I go through PayPal and set it up through there. Also, I want to give a special shout out, a thank you to Mr. White at C&J Tires and Service. If you're in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, if you're in the surrounding areas and you need tires, please go by and see him. Tell him I sent you. That doesn't mean you're going to get a discount or anything. He might give you a high five, a hug, or a nice little salute. But tell him I sent you. He's a good man. So if you're wanting to support the show, be up on this page right here. Let me know. We can work these things out. So email, PayPal, whatever. Hit me up. So into the good stuff we go. Super Bowl weekend. Super Bowl game was last week. And I thought the San Francisco 49ers had it. I thought they had it. The last 2 interceptions, I like, that's it. All they got to do is run the game, run the ball, kill the clock, be smart, play your game. If you remember, if you watched the show last week, I said the X factor for the San Francisco 49ers was going to be their DBs. The defensive backs were going to have to be the X factors in that game. They were playing very well. They was playing a lot of keep it in front of them, don't get beat. And that one play, I think someone was maybe out of position or lost sight of who were they lined up across. And Tyreek Hill got open, and boom. I felt like Kansas City was going to go for it on fourth down every red zone approach, because I think San Francisco's defense was good enough to just bend. They didn't want to break, giving up the big play. And Andy Reid going for it on fourth down to get that touchdown was what I thought was going to happen the rest of the game. But back to the DBs for the San Francisco 49ers. They let that one play go. But they were still in it. Richard Sherman got beat by Sammy Watkins so bad. It looks so bad. It looks so bad. That's speed. You can't teach speed. And he looks pretty stiff out there. I'm not saying he still can't cover, but he can't cover speed guys. Speed guys with space and with some size. Sammy Watkins, he's not a small guy. He's about 6'2", I believe. And he has a lot of speed. He's been in the league for a long time. He's a good wide receiver. And Richard Sherman got beat on that play by himself. He got beat bad. And that was very ugly. But for the most part, I felt like San Francisco was playing their game until they felt like they needed to let Jimmy throw the ball. The run game was working. I would have ran every down until they showed that they could stop it. And Kansas City didn't show they could stop the running game. I mean, they had little hiccups here and there where the offensive line of San Francisco or the offense of San Francisco had issues where they got penalties. Little stupid things kept throwing them off schedule, kept them from getting first downs. It was a great comeback. I can't say San Francisco lost that game, but I can say that I don't feel like they played their game in the fourth quarter. I felt like they made some key mistakes, and they allowed Kansas City to hang around. If you look at the stats, Jimmy had I guess a decent game. 2 interceptions, a touchdown. 31 passes. I wasn't expecting that. He was 20 for 31. Patrick Mahomes threw it 42 times. I wasn't expecting Jimmy to throw it north of 20 times. I was not expecting that. I thought they would have ran the ball a lot more. I was expecting Kansas City to have at least 30 to 40 rushes in this game. I felt like they went away from what they normally do, and the penalties hurt San Francisco. I wouldn't count this season as a total loss or a total failure for the San Francisco 49ers because I'm pretty sure everyone thought they was a year early. I don't think no one as a talking head saw San Francisco coming out of the NFC. I know I didn't. I didn't have them. I had maybe, I can't even remember. I think I had St. Louis, not St. Louis, but the LA Rams and Seattle and Minnesota right there. I definitely did not see San Francisco coming out. They're a year ahead, and maybe, this will be a learning thing for Jimmy, and they can work on. He missed a lot of passes. He missed a lot. A lot of his passes were too high. He was playing like Patrick in the first quarter with some of those screenshots that they were just too high, and he had a lot of passes that was too high. If he would have hit Sanders on that streak, that could have been game. That could have been game. 49ers were getting pressure, but they was getting tired because Kansas City started running the ball. They started to speed up, slow down, speed up. They were controlling the game. They were in control of that fourth quarter. Towards the end of the third quarter, I don't think they was worried about the game. Kansas City has seen this too many times. They've seen it too many times and came back every time they saw it this year. And you got to tip your hats off to Patrick Mahomes. I'm still not saying he's the GOAT. He might be number 1 or 2. I don't like how everyone has forgotten about Lamar Jackson, the reigning MVP of the league, and the amazing season he's put on with all the questions that came about him. Could he throw the ball? Could he throw the ball? Could he lead a team without running all the time? And he did that. He answered all those questions, and he did it. So I would have to put Lamar Jackson at the top. I don't care that he hasn't won a Super Bowl. This is only his second year. Second year. I mean, Patrick's in his year 3. I can only expect great things to come from Lamar Jackson in the upcoming season as long as the Baltimore Ravens continue to put the pieces around him so that team can succeed. So it's going to be a very interesting offseason that's coming up. It's sad. No more football. There is no more football. There is no more football. Before we get off this topic, I felt like Damian Williams should have won the MVP. I mean, you look at his stats: 17 carries, 104 yards. He was averaging 6.1 yards a carry, a touchdown, a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown. He had 4 receptions for 29 yards. He was tough. He was tough for the 49ers. He was bouncing off tackles, and he had showed up that breakaway speed. I don't see how you not give it to him. If anything, it should have been a shared MVP. If you, the league was just in love with Patrick Mahomes. I believe that's what it comes down to. The league was in love with Patrick Mahomes. They gave him the MVP. I mean, Patrick Mahomes didn't play a perfect game. He played an all-right game. 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. His QBR was a 61.6. He was sacked 4 times. I mean, that's... he had 2 fumbles. I don't even remember the fumbles for a while. He had 2 fumbles. So I don't see how. Damian Williams had 1 too. So they won and lost. So I feel like Damian Williams should have definitely won the MVP. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but let me know in the comments who should have won the MVP of the Super Bowl. I believe Damian Williams should have won. They totally forgot about him. It should have been a shared MVP, but you know, it's a quarterback league. He's the face of the quarterback. I mean, he is the face of the league. The quarterbacks have always been the go-to person. So the go-to position. Everyone wants to be a quarterback. So there it is. But I would say that the Super Bowl was at first it was kind of boring. I was ready for it to be over. I was expecting more points. We got some drama towards the end, but not really, especially when Kansas City put that final touchdown up on the board. So it was an all-right game. We had a lot of controversy with the halftime show. I'm not even going to speak on that nonsense. But it was, I mean, all in all, if I had to rate the game, if I rated the game out of 10, I'll say 6. The game was a 6. That's not too bad, right? I mean, that's not too bad. You can't really cry about that. A 6 out of 10. It's not bad. So there's no more football. We got the XFL. I will not be talking about the XFL. I would not be talking about the XFL. I remember when the AFL came out, I was all hyped up about that. I was excited. I watched a lot of those games and I covered a lot of them. If you weren't around when that league came out and when I first started doing my podcast, season 1, if you have Google Podcasts or Stitcher or Breaker or Spotify, type in See Through It Podcast. And that is my first season, all audio. Go check it out. I talked about the AFL and the league and many other things. So go check that out if you are interested to see the growth in the show. I believe there's been a lot of growth in this show, but I would not be covering the XFL unless there is a big want. Like if I get messages or someone says you should cover that, then I will do that. So let me know if you guys are interested in the XFL. So last week, we talked about the NBA All-Star Game and All-Star Games in general. Watched the All-Star Game draft show yesterday, and they clarified the rules. Now it kind of makes sense. It makes sense. I'm not going to say kind of. It makes sense. So there will be 4 quarters. Each quarter will be a mini game within the game. Point is to win each quarter. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter. At the end of those 3 quarters, whoever's at top, the captain's foundation will win the money. At the beginning of the 4th quarter, they would take the total. So let's say the total is 148 to 152. I don't even know why I picked that number, but now I got to do math. So we had 148 to 152. You're going to take the highest number, right? And you're going to add 24 in honor of Kobe and his number. You're going to take 24 and add it to 152. That is 176. So the first one to 176 wins the game. But here's the kicker. The clock is off. There is no clock. So whoever hits 176 first. This is the made-up score now. Whoever hits that score first wins the game. something like, playground basketball. You go, or even at the gym if you go and play a pickup game, be like first one to 21, first one to 15, or something like that. Win by 2, win by, you got to. That's the rules or whatever. It's something like that. But whoever gets to that number first wins the game. The whole idea is to increase competition. Have some pride. Show that you're the best. You know, competition. So, in the spirit of Kobe, I feel like maybe this is a good move. I feel like this is a good move. Played many times at outdoor parks, and it was a lot of competition. There's a lot of pride being played for on those courts. You didn't want to get embarrassed. You didn't want to get shut out. You didn't want to get blown off the court. People were watching. People was like, I got next. And it was like, hurry up, get this team off the court. Like, you didn't want to get blown away. And this is going to be something like that. Like, there's not going to be any time running in the fourth quarter, so the game can go on for I don't know how long. I mean, all you got to do is score 24 points. But the losing team is going to have to score more because they got to catch up and then score that point. So it's going to be a lot of pride, and I feel like defense. Now, the one thing that I don't want to happen is injuries. I don't want injuries to happen where someone gets injured. Now they're done for the season. Now that team who was in the playoff running, their number one player just went down. There go their playoff hopes. So I don't want anything like that to happen because the backlash that's going to be created is insane. So, it's a thin line. It is a thin line. But I'm excited. I'm excited about this because at first when they told us the rules, I was like, what is this nonsense? But then they explained it, and it makes so much more sense. I believe this All-Star game is going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. The best players in the world going at it on the court to win the game within the game. Each quarter. So if you have a player that's hot, that player might play every quarter like the whole length of the quarter. If you have some mismatches, that the game within the game is going to be fun. If everything goes the way I'm thinking it's supposed to go, this should be very competitive. This should be very, very fun to watch on TV. So, if it's not, I will definitely be tweeting out every 3 minutes of disappointment and unsatisfaction in the game. So, but I believe that this game will be very good. So the All-Star selection. So I watched the All-Star selection, and it's a good thing that some players are players, and there's players that could after their basketball career is over, could be in the front office, could be coaching. LeBron shows that. His team that he selected is just it's insane. I mean, the team that he put together is unreal. I'm gonna go through who he has on his team. So Team LeBron: Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Luka Doncic, James Harden, Damian Lillard, Ben Simmons, Nikola Jokic, Jason Tatum, Chris Paul, Russell Westbrook, and Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis. I think I said his name. I might have slaughtered that name, but Sabonis, right? That's LeBron's team. So he has players he has size, kind of. Kawhi Leonard, good defensive player. Mid-range jumper is good. Luka, all-around good player. Defense kind of lacking, but he can shoot the ball from anywhere on the court. James Harden, same type. Can shoot the ball from anywhere on the court. Damian Lillard, anywhere on the court. Ben Simmons is a playmaker. He can run the point, spreads the ball around, and he's long, so he can play defense. Nikola, same thing. He's good on the inside, outside type player. Jason Tatum, he's a Kobe-like player. He has a good shot too. Chris Paul, good leader, point guard, playmaker. Russell Westbrook, he is a madman running up and down the floor. Um, his shot is not all that good, but he's a high energy guy. And Sabonis, um, I I'm not even gonna lie. I Sabonis, he's a big body. He's a big body. He's a big body. I can't. I don't want to make up anything. So he's a big body, but that's true. He's a big body. So Team Giannis. Team Giannis. I'm watching this happen in real time, and I can't understand the mindset behind some of these picks. But here's his lineup: Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's been inconsistent all year long, so I don't even know how he made the All Star game. Pascal Siakam. He's a high energy guy. Very not. I don't want to say efficient, but he's leading the Raptors. I feel like he takes shots that he shouldn't be taking. So he's there. Kemba Walker. He's a streaky shooter. Good crossover. Um, Finisher in the lane. Small guy. Trae Young. He can shoot anywhere on the floor. Trae Young's a very good shooter. Chris Middleton, he's been very consistent this year. He's good. Bam Bam, Adebayo, good power forward that can block, that can play the inside. Good perimeter defense, foot speed. He can move laterally, so that's good. Rudy Gobert, he's tall. He can block a lot of shots. Can he shoot? No. Jimmy Butler, his mid-range is inconsistent sometimes, but he's a high-energy defensive. He's going to play hard. Kyle Lowry, I don't know why he's in the All-Star game. I've questioned that for years now. Brandon Ingram, he's played very well this year. He's shooting the ball very well. Could be the next KD with his stature. I mean, he's like 6'10" or 6'9", weighing 150 pounds. I mean, he's little. I don't really know how much he weighs, but he's a little guy. But he has a lot of potential to be something like KD. And Donovan Mitchell, he's a high flyer. He's not a good. I wouldn't have him shooting the ball. So when I look at that team that Giannis put together, and then I look at LeBron's team, there's no way this team that Giannis put together is going to win the game. I don't see it. I don't see the points. I don't see it. I mean, I don't see it. Damian Lillard is on fire. He's had a whole month where he's averaging almost like 50 points a game. 50 points a game. James Harden is averaging. The players that LeBron has they shoot a lot of threes, and when they get hot, they get hot. My only thought is, Giannis picked his team right to play hard nosed defense because he's thinking this is going to be like playground basketball. He's hoping that those players are not going to get hot, and his players are going to play hard nosed defense. They're going to be rough out there. This is not going to be like a normal All-Star game. And if that's the case, then I would go with Giannis' team winning. But if that's not the game plan, Team LeBron is going to run all over this team. I tweeted out the score. The score I have 205. Yes, I said 205 to 120 something. So it's going to be ugly. I believe it's going to be ugly. I hope they prove me wrong. Oh my! I like the pickup whole, the thought of the pickup game attitude where you picking your players, taking turns, picking who you picking and all that. But man, I mean, strategy. This is the strategy, I guess. His strategy. He wanted players that play like him, hard nosed. Rough and tough. And I'm looking at his lineup, and Joel Embiid is not hard nosed. He's not rough and tough. He's a talker. Siakam is quiet. Kemba Walker, sportsman of the year. That's He's not a talker. He's not rough and tough. Trey Young, another. I mean, he looks like a young kid out there, like a baby face. Chris Middleton is quiet. The only loud one he got is Jimmy Butler. So I don't know what the mentality that he was really looking for, but it should definitely be interesting to see these teams on the floor and with this new setup of how this game is supposed to play out. I'm excited. I hope that Team Giannis proves me wrong and we have a very good competitive game. Hope we have a good competitive game. So that is the All-Star game lineups for 2020. So let me know if you'll be watching this game. Who do you have? Who do you think is going to win? But the NBA season is it's kicking off. You know, after the All-Star game, that's when things start getting serious. Playoff runs, and right now I'm liking what the Heat is doing. What the Heat are doing, I like what the Miami Heat are doing down there in South Beach. I could see them and the Milwaukee Bucks playing in the Eastern Conference. In the Western, I see the LA Clippers. I don't really believe that the Lakers are ready. They don't have enough pieces. So I'm going to go LA Clippers. And, man, that's tough. That's rough and tough. I like Portland with the addition of Carmelo Anthony and what but they're not really doing much. I want them to get into the playoffs. Maybe it can't be Clippers and the Nuggets because they're gonna have to play each other maybe in the second round. Second or third round. That's I don't know. Anyway, it'll be the Clippers coming out of the West. It doesn't even matter who they're playing. I believe it's going to be the Clippers coming out of the West. And but Milwaukee and Miami, I like that. I like Milwaukee and Miami. Jimmy is a hard-nosed player, and they got that team playing very good in South Beach right now. What else is going on in the sports world? It's a dead spot, you know. We got XFL, like I said, that's coming on. If any one of you guys like that, baseball is starting up. It's going to be very interesting to see how these teams react to the Houston Astros when baseball starts up. You know, everyone is looking at them crazy. I know I am. I'm looking at baseball crazy. There was a comment by Mark McGwire. Mark McGwire said the whole Houston Astros team should be banned from baseball. There's no place for that type of nonsense in this league. That's coming from Mark McGwire. Do you all remember who Mark McGwire is? Now, I'll be the first one to say that I have no problem with the steroid era. I have no problem with it. It doesn't help with I mean, it just makes you bigger. You know, it makes you maybe get that ball out of the park. I have no problem with the steroid era. You know, it was fun. It was fun. But the sign stealing and knowing what pitch is coming, that's totally different. I mean, you had to sit up there and guess. You had to see this ball coming and take it out of the park. You had to guess that. This is something totally different. So I don't know. It's gonna be very different feel watching baseball because you're gonna be sitting there second guessing things like they looking at the dugout too much. What's going on in the dugout? Why does the camera keep panning over there? What is that guy doing in his pocket? Like these questions are gonna pop up when you're watching a baseball game. I know for me that's what is that guy doing? Who is that guy? Who is that keep coming at like? These things are going to pop up because what we know has taken place, we're going to question everything now. We're going to question it all. I don't know. Baseball is going to be different. Baseball is going to be different. We got NASCAR is kicking off soon. Daytona. I'm excited about that. Hockey season is ramping up. What else is going on? College basketball is about to get into March Madness soon. we got a lot of stuff popping, got a lot of stuff going and going, but I don't know how long I will be around. I got some news for you guys. But before we get into that, I think we covered a good portion of what I wanted to cover. I wanted to cover the NFL, the Super Bowl, and the NBA All-Star Game, and the lineups for the All-Star Game. College football, we still got some time for college football. Most definitely going to be talking about that in season 3. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it right there. I think that's a good soft spot where we can land. So I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna jump into promos, and then I'm gonna tell you guys. Well, before we get into promos, I'm gonna just go ahead and shoot this out now. Wednesday, do not miss next Wednesday's show. It's just gonna be. It's gonna be a light show. I'm talking about some things that I have coming up, and talk about some things that we're gonna be doing come season 3. Season 2 has been an amazing ride. A lot of guests has been interviewed. A lot of things taking place. A lot of opportunities presented themselves. A lot of things happened in season 2, and I'm so excited what the future may bring. So don't miss episode 43. Don't miss episode 43 of season 2. I haven't decided yet. I'm not going to say too much, but season 2, episode 43, do not miss Wednesday's show. Make sure you tune in on Wednesday. It's a lot of stuff to talk about. So it will be a lot of engaging back and forth with the viewers. If you guys come up and if you guys show up, it's going to be a lot of engaging. So make sure you're here for next Wednesday's show, episode 43. Make sure you are here. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into these promotions. If you're, again, watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, use those emojis, use those hearts, whatever you like to use them. If you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the show. Give it a thumbs up. If you give it a thumbs down, like I said, let me know why. Tell me why you gave it a thumbs down so I can improve, I can't improve if I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So let me know. If you're on Instagram, follow me on Instagram, SeeThroughIt_podcast. Facebook, facebook.com/SeeThroughIt. Give it a thumbs up. Join the conversation there. Let me get those numbers up on the Facebook page. Email me through at SeeThroughItPodcast@gmail.com. If you are wanting to, become a partner, not a partner, yeah, we kind of like business partners. If you want to sponsor the show, let me know if you want to sponsor the show. If you or you want to be a guest on the show or whatever, email me there. If you like to purchase some items, paypal.me/SeeThroughIt, coffee mugs, hoodies, t-shirts, let me know. We get that set up for you. If you like to make a small donation to the show, same thing, PayPal. That is what I use. Here's my supporters page. If you'd like to be on the supporters page, you see I have tons of space. If you give me your business card, I'll put it right up there, just like a little bulletin board, right there, so the people can see it. Right there, so the people can see it. Thank you again for Mr. White for sponsoring the show. C&J Tires and Service. Make sure if you are around the Nashville, Tennessee area and you need tires, you go and see him. You tell him I sent you. Say Brian Sales sent me to this place to get some tires. He said you're a good guy. He might give you a high five, might give you a hug, might just have a fantastic conversation. But anyway, make sure you go there and get your service done. All right. Again, thank you, sir, for sponsoring and supporting the show. So, folks, that is the week in sports. It's kind of, not a lot going on. We had some trades, nothing too crazy. We got John Jones fighting in the UFC light heavyweight, UFC 247. I don't really cover UFC because I feel like it's now. Do not attack me for this. I feel like it's not a sport that is it's not standing up what it's supposed to be. Mixed martial arts is supposed to be about respect and self-control and discipline. And I don't feel like UFC embodies that with the characters that they march out there to fight. So that's just my opinion. You can feel a different way, but I've done Buru. Was it ninjutsu? There's another word for it. I can't properly pronounce it, but I've done karate, and this discipline is a huge thing, and I don't see that in UFC. So I can't cover it because I don't like what the sport is. So that's my take on that. But anyway, again, please show up for next Wednesday, episode 43. Next Wednesday live. So make sure you're here Wednesday. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in to this. This is, maybe I forgot to mention it, but this is a recorded episode. So I might be in the chat room with you guys talking about whatever you guys want to talk about. So come and watch the episode. Make sure you're here for next Wednesday's episode. And that's that. This is the See Through It podcast. Oh, don't forget the slogan. Don't be blinded by the media. Hashtag See Through It. This is the See Through It podcast. I'm your host, Brian Sales. You guys have a good day, good night, safe weekend. See y'all guys Wednesday. Peace.